one of the significant gaps in the existing research was research on people who'd had surgery under 18. And so we embarked on this study in our program to understand the impact of both chest dysphoria, but also surgery on transmasculine adolescents and young adults. And we wanted to assess complications as well. We also really wanted to show if there were any differences in people who'd had surgery under the age of 18. So in our full sample of 136 folks, the average age was about 17.9. In the pre-surgical group, half there were 68 of, the mean was about 17. We had 39 pre-surgical folks who were under 18 and 29 who were over or 18. And then in our post-surgical sample of 68, we had about half and half that had had surgery under the age of 18 and half who had had surgery at 18 or older. Here's the distribution of the ages at the time of chest surgery. So you can see we had, this is 13 years old, this is not a great pointer, but we had 2 young people who had had chest surgery at 13, 5, at 14, 9, at 15, 9 at 16, and 8 at 17, and the rest 18 and older. So what type, well, some people weren't sure what type of surgery they had, but that was only one person. Most of the folks in this sample had had double incision surgery that you just heard about from Dr. Mosser. But we also wanted to look at this recommendation about being on testosterone, because when the insurance companies come back to me with, this is not medically necessary because your patient hasn't been on testosterone long enough, and since that's what our guidelines recommend, it's a tough thing to talk about. So we asked people how long they've been on testosterone prior to surgery. And in our under 18-year-olds, most of them had been on testosterone less than a year. And about 44% had been on a year or more. In our olders, 18 and older, about a third had been on testosterone less than a year, and 2/3 had been on for 1 or more years. We asked about complications. The most common complications had to do with loss of nipple sensation, either temporary and it had come back, or long-term for folks who'd been out longer and it had not come back. Loss of sensation in other areas of the chest, so sometimes people have numbness in and around the surgical incisions, but there were a smattering of other things. There were sort of anesthesia complications. I felt like there were some cosmetic issues around my nipple or areola being too large. Dog ears, do folks know what those are? So if people have bilateral incision and they have a little extra weight, sometimes there can be like dog ears or little corners of tissue that are underneath the axilla or in the armpits. Unequal chest appearance, excessive scarring, so these were the challenges that with minors they need parental consent in order to undergo surgery. And so what are some things that I do with parents? The truth is that sometimes it's time. Sometimes I know that it's time and it's painful, and I have to make sure that I'm having a conversation with the young person about, like, I see you and I hear you, and this might take some time, and I'm fully committed to getting your parents there. And it really is, if you have those conversations for people. And by the way, I keep a poster version of my chest dysphoria study, a mini version of it that I give to parents. And I say, read through this and look at the profound impact of chest surgery. Actually, people get married when they're under 20. Actually, people choose colleges to go to. Actually, people make life-altering decisions in adolescence. Adolescents actually have the capacity to make a reasoned, logical decision. And here's the other thing about chest surgery. If you want breasts at a later